not on your way somewhere close to CHI by now?
Because I still need to take a shower and get ready and get down there. But I'll be down there about, I don't know, 10:30, and then be there all night. So it was a long day. It's been a long couple days here. So I'm just kind of taking it easy this morning because we're in the like wrestle backs, mode this morning. And then consolation semis will probably start around 11 or noon or something. So
When's my guy Tyson Terry going again?
tonight.
Tonight, semis.
So is he just once today?
Yeah, he'll be he'll be at like freaking 9:30 or 10 o'clock tonight.
Ron was hilarious. He was great. Like that was one of our, and I get it. Like not everybody's for wrestling. He was
our guy Higgy Stardust.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He was sensational because he was talking about a lot of things that I think other sports could adopt, right? The ability to evolve. And I know we've always done it this way, but let's look at something new and how do we better the game and how do we grow the game? And we maybe have to take some chances. And, we changed scoring and we're blowing whistles less. And you've seen it the first couple of days with the girls and the boys. Like you're never out of it. And until the end of that third period. Like it's been highly entertaining.
And frankly, shit just moves way faster. Like now, like the matches move faster because it's three rather than being, okay, I'm going to take you down, let you up, take you down, let you up 2 or 3 times. That was, 4-2. Well, 6-2 is a lot different in wrestling than 4-2. If you do that twice, and then if you do it again, it's 9-3, and then it's basically a wrap. So, or a guy can just flip that on you. I will say this: Ron Higdon is a genius when it comes to putting on this event and just
chances.
Yeah, one thing I am nervous about is that he's gonna like retire because his daughter, plays softball, and then his son Ryder is actually wrestling in the state tournament. How about that? Like that'd be hard to manage your mental.
I'm just in love with the name because that's Zoe's nickname. So
yeah,
for that.
So I will say this: he's made the adjustments, and the 2-day girls state tournament standalone was excellent.
So like remember, and I reminded him too, Jerome, where we, a handful of years ago, we were having boys sit out for philosophical reasons over having to wrestle girls at state, and it wasn't even sanctioned yet. Some years removed, and they're getting $16K in a 2-day event.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like there was 4,100 or something for the finals, and we're talking 2 classes, not 4 like the boys.
I do like that too.
Yeah, the second class helped a lot. Just it does for girls, and to be quite honest with you, as someone who is a dad of 2 young daughters, I was a little like, oh boy, I don't know, like if this is what we want to do. But now after watching it, like the good ones, like the really good girls it's amazing to watch them. Like it's amazing. Like that Kaylin Lyons and Macy Peacher match was excellent. It was great. 2 high level competitive people. Now some of the other ones are like, like I don't know if you should be doing this, but it gives kids something to do. I know that. Like and girls wrestling is not stealing numbers from basketball or other sports. They're just not. Most of those kids wouldn't be doing anything else, with their time in the winter or even in the off season and stuff.
Let me ask you something about, we were talking about officiating and how it's had to evolve because guys are able and gals are able to do so many more things athletically and sprawling and scrambles. And I mean, it's electric, like the athleticism. And coincidentally, I'm sure it was you that shot the footage for NEB. I don't want to steal anybody else's thunder if it wasn't, but even what we always talk about with the Ziolas, where you see Cade like snap the head and get the ankle pick, like the same goddamn sweeping motion. It's like Oh, no big deal. Like slow that down. Like stuff like that is incredible. You didn't see things like that all humbuggy a few years ago. Like some of that stuff is incredible, and you have to be on it as an official
Mm-hmm.
and evolve too, especially now that you're blowing the whistle less.
Yeah, I did not shoot that actually. That was our guys. Alex. Well, Alex was there yesterday. Alex and Christian did that for us.
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah. His. Well, first of all, Cade has hands that I need to measure them. Like I'm gonna get a tape measure, a ruler. His hands are like
But watching him, they're in the 11s. I bet. Like,
oh, unbelievable. And they're long. I like shook his hand yesterday and it swallowed. And I even stopped and told him like, "What the like? Geez, dude, like your hand."
What happens when he puts his hand on the back of guys' heads?
Yeah, he's and the fact that he has been able to, his arms are so long where he can literally have you in like a little bit of a one-handed tie up and just drop down and snatch your ankle in the same at the same time is amazing.
Other with like underhooks and like old school stuff. It's just like,
yeah. And to your point about the officials, though, they've done a good job of adapting, and now it's gotten a little younger, right? Like the officials, like we kind of aged out a little bit, which happens. That's just how it works. But they've done a good job. There hasn't been anybody. I mean, it's been real smooth from my experience. There hasn't been any major controversial calls or anything like that. Now you'll probably see some of that tonight and tomorrow a little bit because the matches will be tighter. One guy, though, talk about athleticism. Jermaine Dortch is pretty quick on his feet.
He's smoked enough guys on my huddle tape watching him coming out of the secondary where I get it. I told haven't I brought him up?
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest open field tacklers that no one talks about in the Metro, and you see exactly why with how he just annihilates guys on the mat. He is sensational coming out of the secondary and bringing drama.
Imagine that, like Kyler Lorson, really good open field tackler too. Like these guys are wrestlers. That's why they're good open field tacklers.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of the best I've ever coached: Austin Williams from Burke, Bula, or Javon Perkins from Alex Bridgeford. Like those guys could tackle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's because they're a wrestler. They're like you can't get by them pretty much most of the time.
Not surprised by Preps dominance.
No, in wrestling, no, not at all. They were. I mean, we were. Let's see, Drew or Cody from Any Wrestle. Those guys. We were talking, setting like an over under at total team points around like 255. And the Millard South records like in the 260s. So they'd be pushing
I've seen Millard South sitting at 50 a ways down the chart. Almost didn't look right. You're like,
yeah. Yeah.
What?
And Preps, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Like their Cruiser Dominguez is way good. And he's just a freshman and he's
actually
like,
not bad behind a microphone either.
Who, Cruiser? Yeah, he's pretty mature. He's a mature kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, because you better get used to this over the next 4 years.
Especially as a freshman, like that's pretty good.
Yeah, so like if he doesn't end up, at Nebraska as Nebraska's like 125 pounder down in a couple of years here, then something didn't go right.
Who do you think's kind of flying under the radar? A guy like Harrell maybe, or like I'm trying to think of a good one.
I have one great one.
All right.
Mason Peterson from Columbus. Yeah. He's the under the radar guy that doesn't get enough attention.
It's interesting. Anytime you say Columbus, I always think of
the robe.
I think of the guy that I just mentioned in Alex Bridgeford.
Yeah. He
definitely up there.
And Mason is quiet. He doesn't say a whole lot. We had him on our Mike Chuck Wrestling podcast, and he's pretty reserved. Doesn't talk, a lot. And but he just goes about his business. Him and Scotty Meyer from Lincoln East are two really good guys in there.
I'm pretty impressed with Lincoln East holding serve for what they're bringing to the table too.
They're really deep. They don't have like the stars, right? But they're just real deep and solid. Them in Grand Island
Get what I
too.
mean when I say kind of holding serve, right? Like they're maximizing their depth.
Oh yeah, and that's why like today and like during the day, not tonight, and tomorrow in the wrestlebacks and all that, they're gonna just rack up a bunch of wins and a bunch of points, and they're just gonna kind of stay close-ish, I guess, to prep maybe. When I say that, I mean like maybe they'll be within 50 points of them or something. But East is good, and Coach Rutledge and those guys, they do a tremendous job. Um, they're great dudes. I guess co-head coaches over there, so they're good.
So you keeping an eye on Class B with Scott and the Ziola brothers?
Yeah, Scott. I mean, Scott and Bennington are the two teams in B. I think it's going to be hard to probably beat Scott just because they're going to have. Well, you have Welty and the two Ziolas for sure. In the final should be in the finals. That's 3 finalists. See, they probably have 2 more. They might get 5 into the finals, which is a lot. And then they'll get some bonus points, on that too. So with pins or tech falls and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Bennington would have to kind of really do some work here to beat them, I think.